what she's saying, and I see Mr. Akon says she's describing women. My sentiments, exactly. The key thing to me is she said, oh, clean yourself up, raise your standards. First off, if you had any standards in the beginning, you wouldn't have to raise them, right? That's a red flag. Why is it that your standards are low in the beginning? And if your standards are low and you have to raise them at some point, that shows they were low. So this is why you are dealing with these types of men. Now, listen, the things that she's saying and referring to men, I do think that there are those types of men that are out there. Of course, there are. We can't ignore that. There are those types of men, but it speaks more to the type of guys that a lot of these women have subjected themselves to, the types of guys that they have given children to, the types of guys that these women to give their bodies to be in relationships with. It shows you the caliber of men that these women are used to dealing with. Because once again, I'll say, and I say this and people look at me sideways, I've never dealt with a pookie. And of course, and I might be one of those exceptions because I've never been in a bunch of relationships either. But I've definitely seen them and I've definitely been approached by them. If you have standards to begin with, you would never be in relationships with them. And so it's like the after effects. After you've been in the gutter, you had no standards because you had to level them up in order to get them. Like she said, stop. It wasn't like you initially were not sleeping with them. You had to stop, realize that you are in the gutter and the men that you're dealing with are in the gutter as well. But the part that they leave out is the fact that they were in the gutter. They bypass and skip over the fact that you're right in the gutter with the gutter dudes that you're dealing with, baby. Y'all on the same level. But after you've got a feeling or intuition, once you've had babies with them, once you've been ran through, now you feel like you're better now. So now you want to level up. This is why it's so mind-boggling when you see these women. It's like, oh, so you had the first baby by the baby daddy, y'all broke up, right? Yeah, we broke up, okay. Then you had another baby by him. Why'd you have another baby with him? Why y'all together? Oh, you had another baby from a whole nother dude. Oh, he was trash. He was narcissist. He was every man that you deal with had problems, but you never speak to your problems. See? You had problems too. That's why you were sleeping with a bunch of dudes, getting babies by them, in the gutter right there with them. But somehow your gutter mentality is better than his. Make that make sense. It doesn't make sense. You're there with him, but you feel one day in your mind after you had three, 4 babies and 3, 4 baby daddies. Now you realize I deserve more. Why do you deserve more? What have you done to change your mentality from what it was when you were dealing with these dudes, these gutter snipes? And you was in the gutter, a gutter snipe with him. What changed other than a feeling? What did you do to change your mentality, change your, lift yourself up? What did you do? Because a lot of them aren't doing anything. All y'all doing is having a feeling because you tired, because you done made all these poor choices in the gutter together. And now you're by yourself because those dudes weren't taking you seriously in the first place. And you were not taking them serious. You slept with them, had babies with them, had a good time that everybody looking for. And now you're by yourself trying to raise these kids because now the reality has set in. Now it's expensive. Now it's hard. You can't afford rent. You got all these children. You're struggling. So now you feel like you deserve more. But why do you deserve more when you have not put in anything? You haven't really learned anything because now you think that you deserve more because you feel it and you're older. And now your expectations are even higher when you have not even leveled yourself up out of that gutter. You're still in the gutter mentally. This is the women that we see on Kendra G show and these shows all the time. They really feel and believe they deserve something that they've never put in the work for. So now the fact that you're tired of dealing with Pookie, now you think you need to I want a boring good man now. Now you want somebody to come in and now your expectations are through the roof. When you still that gutter snipe that you were from the beginning, you didn't really change much. And Lord, if you go to college or get a job, that's their leveling up. But you haven't changed your mentality. You still don't know men. You've never been in a serious relationship. All you've been was sleeping around, 304ing it up. And then as you got older, you realized, I need to do something because you got to live and you got to take care of yourself. So you had to go get a job. You had to go to school so you can get a job to take care of yourself because nobody else is going to do it with you and your kids. Because the guys you laid up with and tried and had babies with were not responsible men, just like you weren't though. But all we ever hear is those guys are just irresponsible and they this and they that. But you don't never like to call out the women. The women were just as irresponsible. And this is why you have a situation where these women are looking for the guys who have been responsible and who are doing the right things. They're looking for them to come in, not because they want them, but because they want your finances and they want you to take care of them, period. I don't know no way else to put it because any other way, it's just spinning it. This is why I don't think women are winning. I think they're losing, and I think they're afraid to acknowledge it. But we see it happening. They're crying on social media, asking for money from strangers. You need money to pay your bills. You're gonna get evicted. All that has something to do with your choices. But it's just crazy. But like, once again, I think it's up to the women. I do. I think it's up to the women to make the changes. At this point, men have been bashed and put down so much, they don't even feel comfortable. They don't even trust that the women who say they're different, they don't even trust them. So I think women have to make the changes to prove themselves that they're legit, and that they're really about really trying to find something serious for the men to actually want to be a part of it. Because otherwise, I don't think men trust these women anymore. They don't, because they've seen too much and they've exposed themselves so much so that these men are going to other countries trying to find other women that they can build families with. It's crazy. So, a lot of these women talk all this stuff, but a lot of it, I hear it. It goes in one of my ears and come out the other, because I understand a little bit more. We all have room to grow and learn, but, once again, I don't care what nobody say. When you've been in a marriage for as long as I have, you learn a few things. Or in a relationship, when you've been in a relationship with the one person for years, you learn some things. You learn yourself, you learn about the other person. And you can choose to decide whether you want to continue to grow with that person or walk away because you think that you're changing. I do think as we grow and as we get older, I'm not the same as I was when I was 20. I believe that there's things that I've learned for the better with age. And that's a natural progression in life. As you get older, you grow, you learn things, you do things differently, you think differently. I think a lot differently from the way I thought when I was 20. There are some things that are still constant, but there's also things that I've changed because I've grown. But I don't believe that, you have to leave your husband in order to grow. I think that that's the stupidest thing ever. That's just my thoughts. I don't think that just because you're growing and you realize things about yourself, you're learning yourself. Some would like to say finding yourself, but I'm like, you with yourself all the time. So you can grow and learn things. You don't have to go somewhere to learn and find yourself. You don't have to leave your man to find yourself. If you're having issues in your marriage, you're supposed to work on them. And you can still grow and learn things about yourself and still keep your family together. And I think that's a misconception that a lot of these people like to push, because anytime you can make any excuse for your actions that are considered negative, in my opinion, they like to push that to make themselves feel comfortable about the poor choices. And that's just how I feel, because if it was so great and if you felt good about your choices, why would you still be on social media crying and saying you don't want to be alone and all that when you didn't have to be? It's not like he up and left you like y'all said, the men back in the day up and left, and he said he was going to the stove to get the milk and he never came back. That wasn't her situation. The struggle of that you complain about, are you the ones who creating it? You create the struggle of, because she's definitely in struggle love mode. You left your husband thinking that I guess you was gonna get your knight in shining armor, somebody way better than what you had, because you felt he doesn't serve you anymore. You think you're better than him now. So now you want to move on, and you thought, a man was just gonna jump right in your lap and take you. You're a single mother now. You don't realize that, with 2 kids. So you got to understand, men are looking at that. Dang, if you're going to leave this man that seemed like a good dude, I'm pretty sure, once again, nobody's perfect. So there's nothing perfect that people are going to do. And you couldn't work out your marriage with this man you've been with for all these years, and you just left up, broke your home up, and now you looking for me? Hell to the no. I'm not trusting that. They'll hit it and quit it a little bit and then be out your way. So she going to have to see that. And I think she's already experiencing it.